This is Craig Ries with Hollywood Junket. And if you are like me and you're a huge fan of The Voice, we are desperately missing a season this year. They did not have a spring season. They did not have season 22. They pushed it back to fall. But you're in luck because I've got two great artists from the previous season of season 21. We got Carson Peters and Clint Sherman here with us. And the coolest thing about this interview is they actually just released a song on June 10th called Happy to Drive. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're obviously going to talk about their voice experience. But guys, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, Craig. Appreciate you.
We are happy to be here.
Well, I got to ask right away, like, how did this song come about? Had you worked together after the show and then this kind of led to the song, or was this something you thought of right away, or just give me all the background?
I can start there. So Carson and I met on the show, which was incredible. And so it was during our time on the show that I really was like, man, I love the way our voices sound together. I would love to work with this guy afterwards. And so Happy to Drive is a song that I had written previous to coming on The Voice, but I really wanted like some help taking it to the next level. And so this dude right here, incredible fiddle player, which is like right up my lane, you know, right up that like classic country lane. And I was like, come on now. And so then I was like, man, there's a bridge part that needs this like really good tenor. And Carson has this great punchy voice. And I was like, dude, come on, I got the perfect spot for you on this tune. So I think he was excited to hop on it too, right, Carson?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll add on to what Clint said. We had way too much fun working together in the battle round. We had a good time. We were looking forward to going over that song every day we did. And just working with Clint, we meshed really well together and our voices blended together well. So when he called me and had this idea, I jumped at it, man. I was so excited. It was great.
Well, I'm glad there was no bad blood during the battle round because, right, Clint?
Since this guy sent me packing, is that what you mean, Craig? You said pack your bags, buddy.
I have a lot of favorite things about this show, but that's one is like, it's once you get to that point where you're just competing, there's no, at least what I hear from everyone is like, it's not a competition so much, just happy to be there. Everyone is such a great artist. So it's just like, it is what it is, you know? So, I mean, I'm guessing there was no animosity or anything like that. Obviously you're working together now. So kind of let me know about that.
Carson? I'll take this one and you can add on if I miss anything, but no, as soon as we found out that me and Clint were battle partners, I knew that there would be no animosity whatsoever because me and Clint we had hung out a couple times before we got paired together and we had kind of struck a little friendship there and I knew that it was going to be cool and we were going to have a good time working on it. And what I really thought was cool about it is we wanted the song to end up good more than we wanted one of us to sound better than the other one and win the battle. Like we wanted this song to be like top 5 voice performances of all time. Like we were super excited about the song and we both liked the song and just a lot of positivity in the rehearsals and everything. And to add on about the perceived animosity, when I first got there to LA, I was scared because obviously they had sent us schedules and little things here and there that you knew the names of the people that were on the show. So I'm admitting to stalking everybody that was on season 21 of The Voice, but I'll go ahead and do that. So, I'm looking on YouTube and I'm just like, oh my gosh, these people are going to be so like, we're going to be in competition mode and it's going to be like a whole thing. But no, we got out there and the first day I was there, we had a big Zoom meeting and everybody was just happy to be here. It's just a dream come true. So, that was just a cool thing. And I think the battle rounds really show that the most when you get to work with other people.
Yeah, I agree, Craig. I think that the battle round was an opportunity to play out like how I'm trying to be a professional in this industry. And so like I had a chance to work alongside Carson and Carson, when we were rehearsing on our song, he made a shared note and he titled it, Clint and Carson Win a Grammy. And I was like, let's go, bro. So from the start, we were just trying to help one another and make a great product. And so, yeah, I think that's kind of what we're doing now. We have an opportunity not to have like a scarcity mindset, when it comes to this music industry, and like to think that there's enough for Carson and for me. And honestly, like we're way better when we work together, even solo artists, which is kind of what we both are right now. Carson's got a group that he runs around with, Carson Peters and Iron Mountain. If you ain't heard of that, I guess you ain't a bluegrass fan. But yeah, even as solo artists, like we need other people to get to the top, whatever the top is, And so I really love working with Carson. And not only just because he's a good musician, but I think he's a great young man. And like it makes me better working with him. And like he's better off working with me. I know that's true too. So
that's great. And I've seen so many great collaborations from past contestants of The Voice. And I think that is the best way to go about it. So you guys are killing it. Keep it up.
Thanks, man.
So I am from Austin, Texas. I usually root for anyone from Texas. And so I wanted to know, what other Texas artists did you work with on the song? And do you want to mention them and tell me about that process?
Yeah, man. I would love to tell you about that. So I'm from Dallas. I work at a studio called Audio Dallas with a guy named Paul Osborne. Paul has been a producer since the 80s. The dude just got lots of tenure under his belt. And he's got a great crew out there at Audio Dallas. So this studio is kind of interesting. It used to be called Autumn Sound. And back in the 70s, it was where Willie Nelson originally cut Redheaded Stranger. So he kind of came in and made that place famous. And yeah, I don't think all these guys were originally from Texas, but they've been longtime Texas livers. So I've got Milo Deering playing on the lap steel guitar. Milo has played with the Eagles, and he's been on Leanne Rimes tracks. And then a guy named Jerry Matheny is playing lead guitar. And that dude has also, they both played on Leanne Rimes' Blue album back in the 90s, and toured around with her for a long time.
I'm old enough to know that album. I don't think you both are.
Come on. I think it came out like the year before I was born. So that's awesome. Carson was usually the one cracking those kinds of jokes, but
I'm sure.
I've also heard that album, so don't worry. It's a great album. Great album.
Everybody knows that. I mean, Blue is classic.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
The way that she yodels in that song is like, what? It's just crazy. So anyways, yeah, those are a couple guys, and there's a few other guys who are just great players. A guy named Pete Miller, Josh Compton playing the drums. So that kind of rounds it out. Oh, let me also share about my friend Ashley Howell. Ashley has sang on William Clark Green's albums, and he's kind of a big name in the Texas country scene. And she is a phenomenal background vocalist and singer of harmonies. Paul Osborne, my producer, has called her top shelf. She's just seriously like, I don't know, such a high class gal. Anyways, just such a good gal, but also just like a professional, like goes into the studio and has a great year. I always say this about myself, like she makes me sound way better. And I think Carson felt the same. This was Carson. It was your first time working with Ashley. What did you think, bro?
Oh man. Yeah. When Clint sent the song over to me, they recorded that all in Texas. I'm pretty sure I'm the only Texan that's the only non-Texan that's on the song. But
yeah,
I recorded it in Tennessee, about 20 minutes from my house at a studio called Hat Creek Recording, and we they sent the files over, and it was roughly mixed, not too far along in the mixing process, but all the tracks were laid on there. So I got to hear, the whole thing and put fiddle on top of everything and then sing the bridge. And that was one of the first things that caught my ear was the harmony vocals and how cool those things were sounding. So it's cool.
I guess we'll move over to The Voice a little bit. One thing I want to know, Carson, do you keep in touch with Petey? And then for both, like, who do you keep in touch with other than yourselves that were on the show?
Yeah. I know I keep in touch with quite a few people, whether that be just, every now and then getting an Instagram message or a text message from somebody. But the people I've stayed in touch with the most, and the people that I was really closest with on the show, golly, I'm gonna forget somebody, so I'm trying to get everybody in my head here. I talked to PD quite often. PD's down in Nashville now, so he's a little bit closer to me. So gotten to see him a couple times, and obviously we got to go to Oklahoma and play the Old Red in Tishomingo together. So that was cool. We took Barrett Haynes to the beach with us last summer. So we went down to Gulf Shores, Alabama, and he's about an hour outside of Gulf Shores. So he just drove on down the next couple of days, and he stayed for a few days with us. So that was also fun. I also keep in touch with Jack Rogan quite a bit. I think me and Jack are going. The Titans are playing the Bills, I think week 3 of the NFL calendar. So we might be taking a trip to Buffalo and watch our teams go at each other. But it's just a lot of lifelong friends that you made from that experience when you're all going through something that overwhelming, and we were all thrown in there. We had no idea what we were doing, and it helped to have 47 other people doing the exact same thing you're doing, and it makes you so much closer, so much quicker.
I agree with that. It was like a giant summer camp for musicians, and it had like total camp vibes. So it was easy. Camp is like real conducive for making relationships really quickly, just because you're in like another world. And so that's kind of what it was like for me. It was like musician camp. I guess it's
I don't think anyone's ever described it that way, but that's the perfect way to do that. Yeah, church camp. Yeah,
dude. So I talked to Carson a lot. I know he's probably going to be tired of me after we get done with this run of shows, but he's going to have to deal with it. So just recently I've heard from the members of Girl Named Tom and Jershika Maple, Jeremy Rosado, just a few of those people. I've heard Becca Lichty told me something that Petey said. Carson, I think you'll get a kick out of this. She said that she had listened to Happy to Drive, and she was talking to Petey about it. And Petey was like, now this is country music,
I can see him saying it exactly like that too.
Dude, I'm not lying. I heard his voice when she sent me that text. I heard his voice in my head. And so, dude, I hope we get to see Petey while we're in Nashville for these shows.
Me too.
I've also heard from Barrett. I know he's been Barrett's listened to the song quite a bit, so that's pretty neat. We've got, they're friends and fans. Craig, that's so cool.
Yeah. I know that everyone is supporting each other, so that's really cool to hear that everyone is keeping in touch, and that is just so neat. This is what this is about. I love it. So guys, on The Voice, what practices or habits did you learn on your experience on the show that you still practice now?
I've been helped a lot by Treylani Rose without her even being around me, because I still have all these vocal lessons that are pre-recorded, and I'll do that pretty much anytime I am going to go perform or go record. Treylani doesn't know it, but she's right there with me, like helping me get warmed up. And so that's probably the biggest thing, at least that was the first time I ever had professional vocal training. Mm-hmm. And so to have that was an incredible experience. And I learned the value of it a lot during my time on the show. Just found that I had a lot of growth left in me, and so that's exciting. I get to keep getting better.
I agree with the Treylani stuff. She that was also my first professional voice lesson when we got in the room with Treylani, and knowing that if I would have kept singing the way I was singing, I probably wouldn't have been able to sing for as long as I probably will be able to now, because, there's just minor things that you're doing incorrectly that I'd never known, that I'm sure a lot of people didn't know. And the way she fixed the way I go about it, and fixed the way that, I warm up. I would used to go out and not do any warm up whatsoever, and then just go out and, sing a 2-hour show. And now I understand the importance of, warming up. And I also learned that I think I sing better after I eat Chick-fil-A because
oh yeah.
this is
the exact opposite.
I don't know. I don't have much evidence to base this on because I only did sing three songs on the show, but the first two I ate Chick-fil-A before, and on the blind audition and in the battle round, and then I did not eat Chick-fil-A the round I went home in. So I mean, you tell me. But
you have Chick-fil-A in Tennessee, right?
I do.
Okay.
Yes, and I have put that into practice. I will eat Chick-fil-A before shows more often now.
That's good.
You know, we've mentioned Amazon Prime. We mentioned Chick-fil-A. We might get some ads on this interview.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
You going for a sponsorship?
Yeah, exactly.
So Chick-fil-A sent me home is what the deal is.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Carson, I can't help but notice your hair has gotten shorter. Mine's gotten longer. You know, I might be trying to copy you a little bit. The comments about the mullet still, like what's going on there?
Yeah, the mullet was a dark time in my life.
Wasn't? No, it wasn't.
That was probably I picked a horrible time to try a hair experiment as it was being broadcasted on national television. But no, I went back to the original just short hair. I've worn a hat all day, or I would show you what my hair looks like right now. It is much shorter. Well, it's about the same length in the front, but the back is gone, and it's probably going to stay that way. But as a country musician, there has to be a time where you had a mullet, I think.
Agreed.
So
Agreed. Everyone should have a mullet at some point in their life.
That was my time. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm sure you get asked that a lot. I didn't even want to ask, but
No, that's funny.
Final question, guys, if you don't mind. I'll kind of wrap these last two up into one. What are some of the benefits and what are some of the cons that you experience or still experience from being on The Voice?
Carson, you got it, man.
All right. I got a bunch of pros. I'll probably have to think for a minute and get the cons down. But the biggest thing I think was the social media following that as far as a career kind of thing. There was a bunch of other growth as a musician, of course, and a singer, but as far as outreach, the Instagram followers, the TikTok followers, that it makes you feel like you have an audience, when you're just recording in your living room, which is definitely helpful and helps get some more listeners on the songs that we're coming out with. And so that's one of my things I'm most thankful for is just the social media boost that I got from the show. And let's see. Okay, I'll try to come up with a con here. It is very annoying when people come up and ask me that they tell me that they watch me on American Idol.
Oh, okay. I thought you were about to bring up the mullet. I was like, please don't. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no. That's fine. No, but I would say it's a good 50-50 of people saying The Voice and American Idol. And, you just got to go with it. You're like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
But, and then if they ask you more questions, you eventually just have to say, hey, I was on The Voice, not American Idol, because they start asking you about like something that's on American Idol. And I'm like, hey man, I was on The Voice, and then it's whatever.
Yeah, but they were like, how's Katy Perry? You're like, I don't know.
I have no idea. I'm sure she's just fine.
I do. I wonder this. Do you get a lot of people that like, how do I know you, or what do I know you from? Does that happen?
Actually, I was going through Bojangles yesterday, and the lady at the window was like, "You look familiar. Where have I seen you?" And I don't want to be like shoving it in people's face, like I was on The Voice, but so I'm like, I don't know. And then she went back and got my food and then handed it to me. She's like, you kind of look like that boy that was singing on TV the other day. And I was like, that's probably me. So yeah, that I think that's great though. I love stuff like that. But I'd say the only like halfway con is just the little annoyance of the American Idol name being thrown in everywhere.
Because it puts you in an awkward situation because then you have to correct them, and you don't.
Yeah. And I just try not to. I try to just ignore it, and most of the time that works. But when there's any follow-up questions, that's when it gets a little muddy.
Yeah.
Clint, what about you? Do you ever get X Factor? Do people ever like? I've gotten X Factor. Really? I've gotten America's Got Talent.
I've gotten America's Got Talent.
Yeah. So, I guess I'll start with if there's a con, I'll start with that so we can end with all the pros. I'm not that annoyed. If somebody's like, yo, I think I know you, I'm like, what's up? Well, get to know me. You know what I'm saying? And, but I would say maybe the one con was when you are there, you're just on a high. It's like you're in a different world, and you like every day you're having a new incredible experience. And when you get off the show, it's like very abrupt, and you go back to your real life. And like there's not necessarily like a long runway for going back into real life. It's just kind of like, yo, here we are again. And that was kind of a con, just like trying the time that it took me to get back into the rhythm of things. Because after you leave the show, it's not like, I had a ton of help like getting my career going. Now, I did have a new accolade, in that I was on The Voice, and I had been playing and performing for, like 7 years as a writer and a performer. So it did open a lot of doors now for me that I was like on The Voice, and that was a huge pro, and continues to like pay dividends that people know that I was on The Voice. And it's almost like it's like getting a degree, it's like kind of a checkbox thing where people are like, oh, this guy must be legit. He was on The Voice. And so it's opened doors and allowed me to play at places that I normally wouldn't have. Or like back in April, I got to play at the Bluebird Cafe for the first time ever. And that was cool as a songwriter, getting to play my own songs there. So the pros just abound, man. I got to meet Carson Peters and a whole host of other incredible artists. And they're still in my life. And that's really what's, the people are the most important, Craig. So,
yeah. And guys, I know I said that was my last question, but I was just thinking about Happy to Drive again. And I feel like I need to ask this, but Clint, what was the motivation behind that song? If you don't mind, tell me that real quick, and then I'll let you go.
So Happy to Drive is a young love song, and I really want people to hear it and feel joy, feel joy. And I've said before, it's like a young romantic song where like nothing is going to get in the way of this love that you had. And so, yeah, it's easy going love song, man.
I love that. That was a good way to describe it. I definitely want to put that in our interview. So thank you so much for answering that. And guys, we will wrap it up. Everyone, for watching, I hope you had a good time catching up with these two. I know I did. Obviously, their single is out, Happy to Drive. Go check it out on Spotify. Is there a music video in the works?
Shoot, there might be some TikTok videos going up. And me and Carson are running the roads together. So y'all come see.
That's kind of where it's all going. So yeah, put some TikTok stuff up. That's awesome. Yeah. I want to thank Clint, Sherman, and Carson Peters for letting us interview them today. Their single is out now, Happy to Drive. Go check that out. And guys, you know this, but Hollywood Junkin is the place to go to for all your interviews for The Voice, past, present, and future. So please subscribe, follow, let us know what you'd like to see. I know a lot of artists out there are creating other content. If we can interview them, I would love to do that. But again, my name is Craig Ries. Thank you so much for joining. Follow us here at Hollywood Junket, and we'll see you next time.